The first candle that I ever made was my best candle because it was my worst candle. Hi everyone, my name is Wade. I'm the owner of Black Tie Barn. Here on this channel we talk about candle making and business. I appreciate you for stopping by and would love to have you around for future videos. I have 4 other videos in this particular series, so if you want to watch those or check out any of the other videos on the channel, be sure to subscribe below. Alright, so like I said, the first candle I ever made was my best candle because it was also the worst candle I had ever made. I learned so much by making such a miserable product from the very beginning that it literally jump-started my entire candle making journey and my candle business. In fact, if you're interested in learning more about my journey as a candle maker and into my business, check out the recent video I posted. I think it's called my candle making journey roadmap. I had a lot of fun putting that video together, so I will have that linked for you to check out if you're interested. But let me give you some major takeaways from it. It started, well, rough. I had no idea what I was doing. I had no resources to learn from. I just kind of winged it, and it was awful. Or was it? Today's basic tip in a nutshell is that mistakes make money. One of the worst things that can ever happen to you as a candle maker or a soap maker or any other handcrafter is to make an amazing product right off the bat. It sounds ridiculous, but it's true. What can you possibly learn from that happening? Well, to be fair, I guess you could continue to just make that same product on autopilot and you'd probably do okay for yourself. But you've really learned absolutely nothing about your product or the materials that you're working with, and you missed the chance to experiment and learn about other materials, ultimately improving your skills as a handcrafter. Because you hit the jackpot from day one. But what happens to most millionaires after they hit the lottery? They usually lose it all pretty quickly. Because yes, they hit success, but they didn't have the skill set to handle it. If you give someone who's poor with managing money more money to manage, they just lose more money. If you give a bad driver a race car, they just end up in a much larger crash. Now, these are obviously extreme examples just to prove a point. And in no way am I suggesting that if you do happen to make good products from the very beginning, that means you're a bad candle maker and that you're going to fail. Just that you might be missing a massive opportunity to improve your skills as a maker and to refine your craft. Let's talk about what happens when you make a bad candle or a bad product. Well, first, you could just try again, but this time you change up your process a little bit. And at the end, you learn that either that change in process helped, so you know that one process is better than the other, or you find that the process wasn't the problem and it had no impact on your final result. Either way, you learned something. Or maybe you changed one of your components. For example, your wick. If you change the wick and it works, well then you've learned that one wick type or size works better than another. And if it doesn't, you can eliminate that component as part of the problem. Once again, either way, you've learned something about your materials and your product. The same goes for wax, fragrance, and so on. And what if it wasn't about making a bad product? Maybe you just missed the chance to make a better one. Sometimes we just make a solid product and then we become content with that product and thinking, well, it works, it's the best I can do, when in reality, you might have missed the opportunity to make one much better. So here are some examples of skills that you can learn through making a bad candle or a bad product. First and foremost, troubleshooting. The ability to troubleshoot when something goes wrong and learn for ways to adapt and to fix it. This is a must-have skill for all candle makers, soap makers, handcrafters, business owners in general. Things don't always go as planned, and when something bad happens, being able to adjust, learn, and adapt is such an important skill. Number 2, the ability to research. Again, another time-tested skill that will just continue to make you better and better at your craft as time goes on. You learn where to find resources, what types of questions to ask, and in the process of trying to troubleshoot or research one problem, you might learn even more about your craft. Number 3 is experience. The fact that you're testing multiple materials will inevitably lead you to being a better all-around handcrafter, a better all-around candle maker. You will learn about things that work for some products, but don't necessarily work for another product. Or even better yet, you learn about materials so you can come up with backup materials for your products. Check out my most recent video that talks about having a plan B and coming up with backups to all of your processes. I swear to you, the tips in that video have been a lifesaver to me and other candle makers on multiple occasions. Number 4, community. Needing help and turning to others in the community for help and assistance and guidance is such an awesome part of being involved in this craft. For example, being a member of a YouTube channel, such as this one, or Facebook groups, and engaging with other candle makers and other handcrafters in your industry can have tremendous benefits on motivation, accountability, and even friendship. I have made a lot of really good friends being involved in this community. And then this might be my favorite skill that you acquire through your failures and learning from your mistakes. Every time you fail, you pick up the pieces, quite literally sometimes, and you learn something new. And whether that is through troubleshooting, research, experience, or community, you're learning something about your craft, the materials that you're using, and your products. You learn what is normal for your products and what is not. You learn about how your candle should perform versus how it shouldn't. This allows you to become an expert on your products. You will be able to answer any question thrown at you. In fact, if a customer approaches you and asks you a question about your product, you'll be able to give them a clear, concise answer. Or you can totally geek out and give them all the nitty-gritty details about your products, which is my personal favorite approach. But read the room, right? Read the room. Look, mistakes are gonna happen. So rather than doing everything in your power to try to prevent them, learn to embrace them early on and just learn from them. It's like having a personal coach, like a personal one-on-one coaching session with yourself. There's no faster way to learn about your products than to learn from your mistakes. And the truth is, the best time to make these mistakes is early on. Wouldn't you rather make mistakes with your product when you're only making and selling a handful a week? Sure, you'll lose a little time and some money, but what if you never learned that lesson or ever had encountered that mistake? And then later it rears its ugly head when you're pumping out 100 candles a week or 1,000 candles a week or even more. A small mistake at that scale can cost you a fortune. So make mistakes when they're cheap, relatively speaking. I encourage you to check out the other 4 videos in this series. There are important lessons in each one of them. Please consider subscribing below. Hit that little bell to turn on notifications so that when I post new videos, you will know. And I would really appreciate it if you also gave this video a thumbs up below. It really helps out the channel. Thank you all for being here. Feel free to share this video with others, and I'll see you next time.